Claude Lévi-Strauss, a key figure in anthropology and the founder of structuralism, analyzed myths to uncover universal patterns of thought. His work on the Tsimshian myth of Asdiwal, as examined in his essay The Story of Asdiwal, serves as a classic case study in structuralism, illuminating how myths reflect the structures of human thought. In this analysis, Lévi-Strauss argues that myths, while seemingly diverse and culturally specific, reveal underlying structures that are common to all human societies. Let's break down his approach and critically assess it. Lévi-Strauss's structural analysis of the Asdiwal myth. The Tsimshian myth of Asdiwal centers on a hero, Asdiwal, who goes through a series of geographical and social transitions involving themes of marriage, kinship, and conflict. Lévi-Strauss's structural analysis interprets these elements as manifestations of deeper oppositions and resolutions within Tsimshian society. He interprets the story through 4 levels: geographical, economic, sociological, and cosmological. 1. Geographical level. The journey of Asdiwal in the myth maps onto the structure of the Tsimshian's environment. Lévi-Strauss observes that the shifts from the river to the mountains, for instance, correspond to tensions between different modes of subsistence, such as fishing versus hunting. Economic level. Lévi-Strauss analyzes the myth's depiction of marriage alliances and exchanges as representations of economic relations and resource distribution. The marriages within the story reflect the social rules governing trade and reciprocity in Tsimshian culture. Sociological level. The structure of family relationships in the myth reflects sociological distinctions, particularly in kinship roles and marriage rules. Conflicts in Asdiwal's relationships mirror internal tensions in society between matrilineal and patrilineal descent and between exogamous and endogamous marriage preferences. 4. Cosmological level. At the cosmological level, Lévi-Strauss interprets Asdiwal's movement between earthly and supernatural realms as a reflection of Tsimshian cosmology. Here, myth bridges the natural and supernatural worlds, symbolizing the interaction between nature and culture. By analyzing the myth on these levels, Lévi-Strauss uncovers what he sees as binary oppositions within Tsimshian culture, such as nature versus culture, kin versus non-kin, and male versus female roles. For him, the myth of Asdiwal not only tells a story, but organizes and resolves these oppositions, thereby sustaining social order and continuity. Structuralism and Lévi-Strauss's theory of mythology. Lévi-Strauss's theory of structuralism posits that human thought operates through binary oppositions, which manifest in cultural products like myths. According to him, the structure of myths follows universal patterns because all human minds operate in similar ways. Myths, therefore, serve as a medium to reconcile contradictions within culture and nature, helping to maintain social stability. In The Raw and the Cooked and his other works on mythology, Lévi-Strauss argues that myths act as a language, composed of mythemes, the basic units of myth, which can be recombined to produce meaning. The structural approach allows Lévi-Strauss to treat mythology as a language with its own grammar, where myths across cultures follow similar syntactic structures. Critical assessment of Lévi-Strauss's approach. Lévi-Strauss's structural analysis of mythology has been influential, but it has also faced significant criticism. Some points of critique include: 1. Reductionism and ignoring cultural specificity. Critics argue that Lévi-Strauss's focus on binary oppositions and universal structures may oversimplify the unique aspects of individual myths and cultures. By reducing myths to structural oppositions, he risks overlooking specific historical, social, and political contexts. 2. Lack of emphasis on agency and subjectivity. Lévi-Strauss views myths as products of the collective mind rather than individual creativity or experience. His approach, therefore, does not fully account for the ways in which myths might be consciously adapted or subverted by storytellers. 3. Static view of culture. Structuralism has been critiqued for presenting culture as a relatively fixed system of oppositions, thus downplaying the dynamic, fluid, and transformative aspects of cultural change over time. By focusing on static structures, structuralism may miss the ways in which myths evolve or respond to historical change. 4. Eurocentrism and structuralist universals. Some anthropologists have noted that structuralism imposes a Eurocentric logic of binary thinking onto non-European cultures. This universalism can sometimes obscure the diversity of cognitive and cultural frameworks around the world. Conclusion. Levi-Strauss's structural analysis of the Tsimshian myth of Asdiwal provides a compelling example of his structuralist theory of mythology, revealing how myths can reflect and mediate cultural oppositions. However, while his approach offers valuable insights into the universal structures of human thought, it has been critiqued for its reductionist tendencies and its limited engagement with the historical and subjective dimensions of myth. Nevertheless, Levi-Strauss's work remains foundational in anthropology, offering a framework that has spurred further debate and development in the study of myths and symbols.